Now, first we'll give a definition. Rate is proportional to first power of concentration term of reactant is a first order reaction. Right. Then we'll consider the reaction. Consider the first order reaction. R giving rise to P is a general representation of any first order reaction. But mathematically, we should give the equation to indicate it is first order. Assumptions. Let initial concentration of reactant be R naught, not represent 0 time, and R be remaining concentration at any time T. Could be seconds, minutes, anything like that. Yeah, that's why simply T. DRB, small change in the concentration in a small interval of time. Is that okay? So, 1 second. In a small interval of time, dt. Now, rate of the reaction or rate equation for first order reaction minus dr by dt is the mathematical rate expression for reactant is equal to k into r to the power 1. Why 1? Because it is first order. Okay. Now what is the next step? Rearranging the terms to integrate that. Come on. What we do? dt will be pushed to the right hand side. dr by r is equal to k into dt. Okay. So that's it. So this equation 2 is going to be integrated now. Okay. So when you integrate this, what you get? So in the similar lines, integral of minus 1 by r with respect to dr. Integral of minus 1 by r with respect to dr has a formula. Okay. You are going to practice this in the mathematics later when integration is started. So this is the standard formula. Integral of minus 1 by r with respect to dr is equal to minus log r to base e is equal to k. Integral of dt is nothing but t. So k into t plus I. When integration is over, you have to keep the constant I there. Is it okay? So you have to remember this formula. Integral of minus 1 by r with respect to dr is nothing but natural log. Log r to base e is equal to k. Integral of dt is t plus I. I is the constant of integration. Now after that we have to find out what is the value of I. Where I is equal to integration constant, fine. We'll find out the value of I now. For that, what we do? To find the value of I. Initial conditions of the reaction. When time t is equal to 0 of the reaction, then remaining concentration would be equal to initial concentration as we have just started the reaction. Then equation 3, previous equation becomes. Okay. Are you writing? Should I go a little slow? Okay. This is the equation 3. Minus log r to base e is equal to kt plus I. When it becomes initial condition, when time t is equal to 0, r becomes r naught. So what happens to this kt term? 0. So I becomes equal to minus log r naught to base. Correct now? If you want me to wait, I'll wait. So somebody should respond.
We have returns.
Oh, that's fine. We'll proceed now. So at time t is equal to 0, this kt becomes 0, I becomes equal to minus log r naught to base e. That's what we are going to get in the next slide. Okay. Equation 3 becomes I is equal to minus log r naught to base e. What do? We'll substitute this value into that equation 3. I for I in equation 3. So minus log r to base e is equal to kt minus log r naught to base e, of course. Okay, it has to be base e. Now this is the equation, but generally we use logarithmic forms which are base to 10, not to base e. Okay, most simplified form of log is log to base 10. Okay, so kt is equal to transfer this, it becomes log r naught to base e minus log r to base e. Now what is log a minus log b? Log a by b formula. Okay, general logarithmic principle. Log a minus log b is log a by b. Kt is equal to log r naught by r to base e. So multiply by 2.303 to convert log to base e to log to base 10. So finally you get the equation k is equal to 2.303 by T is transferred to the right hand side, log R naught by R. That's it. Okay. In the similar lines as that of the derivation of integrated rate equation for 0. Okay. So we'll just go through once. Look at this. We have considered a first order reaction. Assumed R naught be initial concentration, R be remaining concentration. dr small change, dt small interval. Therefore, rate equation for first order becomes minus dr by dt is equal to k into r. Push the dt right hand side, similar terms on the same side. So then integrate. You will get, this is the standard formula. You have to remember, integral of minus 1 by r with respect to dr is nothing but log r to base e, like 1 minus 1 by x with respect to dx is log x to base e, like that. Okay. So k, integral of dt is t. After integration is over, I. All that we do is I, finding out I and substituting and simplifying. That's all. Okay. Yes, we'll tell you that. Okay. So this is the thing. So in the next slide, we are going to find the value of I using initial condition. So equation 3, after substituting, it becomes I value minus log R naught to base E. So substitute for I in equation 3. The equation 3 would become like this. Then transfer in terms of K. Now this is log to base E. Madam, somebody asked me why we have to multiply by 2.303. Now this is a constant. Whenever you want log base E, log to base E to be converted to log to base 10, you have to multiply by the constant 2.303. Okay. If you multiply the whole the equation wherever log to base E is there with 2.303, then log to base E becomes log to base 10. Remember, I think you would have come across in your mathematics. Okay. So that's the thing. Okay. Fine. Now it becomes like this. So time has been taken to denominator. K is equal to 2.303 by T log R naught by R. Now log to base E has become log to base 10. Log to base 10, we don't generally mention. If nothing to base of log is mentioned, it is assumed as 10 like. Okay. So what is the unit of K here? You see here, concentration by concentration, term cancel. Time is there in the denominator, so per second is the, call it as equation 4 because we need to use this equation for that. So this is the derivation. This derivation is has been asked in the examination for many times. Either zero order or this, especially this, it will be repetitive in the alternative examination for sure. Okay. So it is so simple. We'll proceed. Other forms of this integrated equations. Sometimes we doesn't use the same form for different problems, which would give different data to solve the K value. We use the appropriate useful equations. So in order to get different integrated forms, we'll have the terminologies, slightly different terminologies. In a reaction, let A be the initial concentration, X be the amount of reacted in time T. We are going to start a reaction, say, with 2 moles in the beginning. 2 moles is what? Initial concentration. The term to represent initial concentration is square bracket R to base 0 or A, any one. Okay, R naught or A can be initial concentration. Now, when the reaction proceeds with time, 2 moles of reactant, slowly concentration decreases. Say after 1.8 seconds, 1.8 seconds, about 0.5 mole of the reactant converts to product. 0.5 mole of the reactant converts to product. So how much ever reactant is got converted to product is what is X. That is X there. X is the amount of reactant converted or reacted in time T. At 1.8 second, 0.5 mole got reacted. So 0.5 is X. 2 is A. So can you people tell me now, at time T, if 0.5 mole got reacted, at time T again, what is remaining?
A minus X.
A minus X. So then the concentration of the reactant remaining at time T, A minus X. A is initial, X is reacted, remaining is A minus X. In the previous equation, A minus X was equal to square bracket R, that's all. R was remaining concentration here. A minus X is the remaining. That's it. So R naught is equal to A, R is equal to A minus X. Therefore, the first order rate equation becomes like K is equal to 2.303 by T log A by A minus X. Now, similar terminologies can be used in zero order also. For zero order, rate equation becomes, look at this. Okay. One second. For zero order rate equation becomes, see, can you tell me what is R naught minus R? R naught is initial concentration minus R. See, K equation for zero order reaction is R naught minus R by T, correct? R naught is initial, R is remaining. Initial minus remaining would give what? How much is reacted? So in the numerator for K expression, R naught minus R is equal to X there. So zero order rate equation can also be written as X by T. Okay, so don't get confused. R naught is initial concentration minus R is remaining concentration. If in our example, 2 mole we have taken, 0.5 mole got reacted, 2 minus 0.5, what remains is 1.5. So 1.5 is R, 2 is R naught. So 2 minus 1.5 is equal to 0.5. What is that? Reacted. So it is nothing but X there. So integrated rate equation for zero order becomes X by T. So these are the different forms. Okay. Now, sometimes they'll ask you to calculate rate constant or time for certain fraction of reaction to be completed in gas phase reaction. The same equation of first order can be rewritten for gas phase like this. So for a first order gas phase reaction, that means the reaction taking place in gaseous state, concentration terms are replaced with pressure of gaseous reactant in equation 4 in the beginning. Okay, so what would become? So K is equal to 2.303 by T log P naught by T. Some books they give Pi initial, P naught at zero time, both are same. Pi by T or P naught by T, anything. So where P naught is the initial pressure of the reactant, Pt is the pressure after time interval T. So after some time, how much ever is the pressure of the reactant, or partial pressure of the reactant, that is Pt there. Okay. So the terms in the solution phase will become gaseous phase like this. R naught is P naught. R is nothing but Pt for gaseous reactions. Is that okay? So now, especially these gaseous reactions, in these reactions, calculation of K should be a little careful. We'll take some examples so that how do we calculate Pt is very important. Okay. Now, rather than term, you remember like this. What is Pi? P naught? It is initial pressure. Pt is remaining pressure of reactant at time T seconds. Like that. Because in some books they give capital T. So there is little variation in these symbols. Conceptually, you understand. Numerator is initial pressure. Pt is remaining pressure of the reactant at time T. Like that. Let it be any symbol. Okay. Accordingly, you can go. So this is for gaseous phase reaction. Okay. Now significance of first order integrated rate equation. Determination of order. The reaction whose order needs to be determined is started experimentally. Look at this. By using integrated rate equation for first order, you can determine the rate constant and thus order. Okay. So what do we do? There is some reaction. We don't know its order. Order is an experimental quantity. Order must be determined experimentally by carrying out the reaction. So what we do, the reaction whose order needs to be determined is started experimentally. Initial concentration of the reactant R naught is noted. the concentration of the reactant remaining at different time intervals is found out. This gives remaining concentration or correct. You start a reaction experimentally. Initial concentration, you know, because you only have taken it maybe 5 mole, 10 mole, 2 mole, whatever. And then reaction is started with whatever the prerequisite conditions of temperature, pressure, catalyst, everything. Reaction slowly proceeds. You have to find out as reaction proceeds with time at different time intervals. Let's say 3 minutes, 8 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, randomly, no problem, or regular interval, any time. At different time intervals, you just need to find out remaining concentration of the reactant R. Correct? Now initial concentration is known. Remaining concentration at different time intervals is known. So time data is there, R is there, R naught is there. These values are substituted in the first order integrated rate equation. K is equal to 2.3 by T log R naught by R. Let's say we started with 0 time. After 5 minutes, we found out what is R. So what is time there now? 5 minutes. Initial concentration, we have taken 10 moles. And what is the remaining concentration? You will find out from the experiment, either by titration or so like that. Okay. Substitute and find out K5. K5 means rate constant at 5th minute. Similarly, find out K at 10 minutes, K10, K15, K20, K25 like that. If the reaction is first order reaction, then the reaction must obey this equation. What do you mean by following or obeying this equation? It would have to give at different time intervals same constant value for the reaction, K. That is what the meaning of this equation, right? K is equal to 2.303 by T log R naught by R means, what does it mean? At different time interval, follow the cursor, at different time intervals, when you substitute for initial concentration and remaining concentration, this equation gives constant value, is what it means mathematically, correct? So we have carried the reaction whose order has to be determined. We found out remaining concentration are at different time intervals. We calculated K value at different time intervals, say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Respective K values, K5, K10, K15, something like that. And we compare the K values now. What has to be, if the reaction is first order, it should fit into this equation. It should follow this equation. Means at different time interval, K calculated should has to be constant. So K5, K10, K15, 20, 25, everything should be almost same. Then we can say, since the reaction follows integrated rate equation of first order, the reaction also first order. This is how experimentally we determine rate. So if values of K calculated are nearly constant, then the reaction follows the equation, this equation, hence it is a first order reaction. I think you got the complete concept. No problem. Shall we proceed? Okay. Are you writing or shall I proceed?
Finish, sir.
Come on, man. That means I can proceed. Fine.
Done, sir.
Fine. If K values are not constant, what is the conclusion? If K values are constant, it is first order. Let's say some reaction has been carried out. If K values are not constant, what does that mean? The reaction is not obeying the integrated rate equation for first order. So what we can conclude, it is not first order. Then what they do, we will have integrated rate equation for zero order, second order also. However, we are not having in our syllabus, but integrated rate equations are there, right? So they go for the same equation, the same reaction, carry out experimentally, fit into zero order integrated rate equation. If it gives K value constant there, then it is zero order. If it doesn't give K value constant, it is not zero order. Then go to second order integrated rate equation, fit in. If it gives constant, then second, like the trial and error method. You can follow this. Okay. So fine, we'll proceed. That is one significance. What is that? We can find out order of a reaction by calculating K value for the reaction at different time intervals. Next, determination of rate constant and R naught again. First order integrated rate equation is same as equation of a straight line. This we have seen for zero order reaction also. Okay. So Kt divided by 2.303 is equal to, we can transform this, log R naught minus log R. We had K is equal to 2.303 by T log R naught by R, right? You can transform that one into this form, right? 2.303 to the left hand side, log R naught by R as log A minus log B form. That's how we get it. Kt divided by 2.303 is equal to log R naught minus log R. Now, we can transform this equation like this. Push log R to the left hand side and Kt by 2.303 to the right hand side, for the reason that in this equation there are two variables. Time is a variable, independent. R is a dependent variable. So it's like X and Y. So this form, what we get here is similar to Y is equal to mx plus c. Y is nothing but log R. X is nothing but R, time. So then it gives, when we plot Y against X, slope M is equal to minus K divided by 2.303 and Y intercept C is equal to log R. So a graph of log R versus time gives a straight line with negative slope. So you can see minus K by 2.303 negative. So the graph looks like this. Look at this. Log R by T gives a straight line with negative slope. And there Y intercept C is nothing but log R naught. So if you want to calculate R naught is equal to anti-logarithm of C. Now calculate slope. The slope gives the value of rate constant, because slope as per the equation M is equal to minus K divided by 2.303, correct? So slope is equal to minus K divided by 2.303. So if you want to calculate K, you can do like K is equal to minus slope into 2.303, correct? Whereas in zero order, what we had taken along y-axis, R, along x-axis, time. A straight line with negative slope, there also we got it. There, what was slope actually? Minus K. K was equal to minus slope. What is extra here in first order? So K is equal to minus slope into 2.3. That's all. Because log will be introduced. So similarly, y-intercept C is equal to log R naught and R naught is equal to anti-logarithm of y-intercept C value. So graphically, we can determine K value, R naught value for the reaction. We can determine order by carrying out the experimentally equation reaction experimentally, then fitting into the integrated rate equation, we can find out K values. If K values are constant, it decides the order also. Okay, this is graphical determination. Now, after these two, we'll take up time for 100% completion of a reaction. We'll start a reaction. How do we complete the entire reaction experimentally is the thing. Okay, or what time does it take for 100% completion in a zero order reaction? What do you mean by 100% completion? When all the reactants got converted to product is 100% completion. Correct, no? So we have the integrated rate equation. K is equal to R naught minus R by T. When reaction is 100% complete, okay, what is R? R is remaining concentration of the reactant will not be there, because there will be no remaining concentration when 100% completion has already taken place. So R becomes 0. Therefore, what happens to this equation? Initial concentration minus 0 by 100%. So T 100% is for zero order, R naught by K value of 0. That gives the time taken by a zero order reaction to complete by 100%. Similarly, in a first order reaction, we have integrated rate equation 2.303 by T log R naught by R. Now again, when reaction is 100% complete, which term becomes 0? R becomes 0. If the denominator is 0, it is indeterminate, it becomes infinity. Okay, so K is equal to 2.303 by T 100 log R naught by 0. So it has to be infinity. What does it mean? A reaction 100% completion wouldn't happen That's the meaning. The time taken for 100% completion of a first order reaction is infinity. What does it mean? What does it mean? Anybody? Can you people elaborate what you mean by this?
The reaction never comes to an end.
Reaction never comes to an end. What is there in your hands, you can start, that's all. What is not there in your hand, you can't end it. See, man, you can only start, you can do it, anything else. Now the thing is, if we start a first order reaction in a lab, it continues forever. How to complete it? We'll keep a beaker where reaction is happening first order forever, generation after generation, and simply keep watching. Is that is the way?
Sir, but infinity inside the log is not
Louder,
defined.
louder, little near the mic.
Infinity inside the log is not defined only, no, sir.
So that's what. What does it mean is it doesn't complete. Correct,
Infinity
no?
inside the log will infinity only.
I didn't get you what.
Sir, Kishan is telling if zero is infinity is there inside the log, then it is indeterminate.
It should be.
Indeterminate.
Now, when I say that, it can't be defined. That is the meaning. You can't get the value. There is no end for it. It's not a finite quantity. That's the meaning. Fine now.
Okay, sir. Okay.
It goes for infinity. So now the question is, how do we complete a first order reaction? Just now we have seen in our discussion that if I want to carry out a reaction and find out what is the order of the reaction experimentally, we carry out at different time intervals, we find out R and everything and fit into equation. But when does that reaction completes? What do we do experimentally to complete a first order reaction? Any idea? We'll throw the content into the sink. Is that the way?
Sir, in mathematically, we can proceed by applying limit x r tending to 0.
Experimentally, I'm asking.
Experimentally, it's not complete.
Sir, just when most of the reactants have reacted, we should take out the remaining reactant.
When most of the reactants got reacted,
we should take out the remaining reactants.
when most of the reactants got reacted, by then only it would take generations. See, infinity. Most of infinity is infinity only.
Add catalyst.
Huh? Anybody else? What is the idea, man? Huh? Throw out the content or ask the person to just go or do something else. There is a methodology, right? See, finally, the time required for 100% completion is definitely required as a data to calculate K there actually. In terms of volumes of the titration or reactants, we are going to calculate K there. It is R naught by R no. How do we find initial concentration and remaining concentration at different time intervals? We need final concentration actually. Experimentally, it can be done like that. Any idea? Simply, I'm asking future scientists if they can give some idea. We can incorporate it.
Sir, you told there is other way of writing reaction, sir. A by A minus X. Like that, if you write, you get the answers.
It is simply another term, Astana. That's all. No, R naught is A. R is A minus X. By writing different form, will it change to infinite to finite?
No.
Then what, man? You are giving ideas simply. I am wasting my time for implementing these ideas in the lab.
Sir, we can write log r0 by r is equal to log r0 minus log r, sir. We can consider log r to be 0.
Log 0 is minus infinity. Minus of minus infinity, again plus infinity.
Correct.
It's not the
should
question
consider
of mathematics, Mr. Vallabh. Mathematically, you do something, again, it has to give infinity only, fine. But how do you do experiment? You are in front of a table with contents of first order reaction. I want to find out the final value. What is the time taken for 100% completion? It's the question, right? Fine.
Sir, we should consider after 63.2% of the reactants is complete, that has full time taken. Sir.
Okay.
No, sir, some logic.
He would have seen in Google or
Numerology, yeah?
somewhere.
No, sir, electronics I compared, sir.
Okay. You believe in numerology, man. 63%. 6 plus 3 is equal to 9. 9 is a auspicious number. Something like that. Okay. Anyhow, keeping fun apart. Actually, what we do, the fact is that a first order reaction will never go to completion. But experimentally, we require final value. Okay. So what would be the complete time taken for completion is definitely required. So what we do is, we take the reaction mixture. What we do, we are carrying out the first order reaction. We are finding out remaining concentration of reactant at various time intervals. Let's say we have taken some 5-6 readings at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 25, 30, something like that. Still reaction is proceeding. It has to proceed. It is first order. Take that container, beaker, where first order reaction is happening. Heat it on a Bunsen burner for about 1 hour at about 70 to 80 degrees centigrade. So what happens? Will it complete? Later we see, after this concept in this chapter, there is kind effect of temperature. See, for every rise of 10 degrees centigrade, rate is found to double, or in some cases triple the rate of, okay? Just rise the temperature by 10 degree, rate becomes doubled or even tripled. So like that, if you maintain 80 degrees centigrade, rate becomes manifold, 2 to the power 8. It becomes so many folds. And by maintaining 80 degree, just not you are heating for 1 minute, 1 hour you are going to heat. So it increases the rate so many folds that after 1 hour, most of it would have been complete. I can't say it is fully complete. If it is 99.8% is complete, that's good enough. Or 99.9% is complete. 0.1% in compared to the bulk, that comes as a error. That is okay. Is that okay? So that's how exactly. So you take a first order reaction mixture and heat it to high temperature, not boiling or beyond. We should not heat beyond the boiling point of the mixture or evaporation or something like that. Nothing should happen. It should be a safe temperature so that reactants doesn't get affected. Okay, in such cases, we go up to 80 degrees centigrade, 70, 80. Then maintain for some time and let the reaction complete by almost 100%, 99.9%. That is possible. Remaining 0.1%, we are going to just neglect it. Okay, that's how exactly.
Sir, but even K is affected, no, sir?
Even
K is affected. Temperature affects K, no, sir?
no. In the overall reaction, even if rate increases, K indicates what exactly? It indicates rate of a reaction. At high temperature, rate of a reaction may be faster, that's all. But if you take the ratio, overall ratio, this is integrated rate equation for first order, including the R naught, R, and time, everything. That overall equation remains the constant again. We are not using only R there. We are not using only one term to define K there. There are 3 variables totally there. 3 terms there. R naught, R, and T. Combination of all those things in this equation has to give K. That's the meaning. So
Okay.
this is how experimentally we do. Anyhow, as an extra concept, you can just remember. Fine, we'll proceed further. Next concept is half-life period. Okay, half-life period of a reaction. Where have you come across the term half-life period in your school also?
For
Where
fossil
exactly?
fuels.
Pardon me?
Finding out the
Fossil
rate.
fuels. Half time of for finding information from fossil fuels.
Fossil. That means radioactivity, no?
Yes, sir.
Right. Half-life period, T half or 0.5 T.5 or T 50% are the symbols, but we use T half most often. Okay, in all the books. So half-life period is period where life becomes half. Is the meaning correct? So how do we define the time in which the concentration of a reactant is reduced to one half its initial concentration, or you can define it as the time required to complete half of the reaction, or you can also say the time duration in which 50% of the reaction is complete is called half-life. Okay, so no problem. We have taken 10 moles in a first order reaction. Find out in what time 5 moles of it converts to product, or find out in what time 5 moles of 10 mole remains. Both are same, no? 10 moles are reduced to 5 mole is 50%. 5 moles of 10 mole got converted to product. Any terminology. Fine. We are going to give expression for half-life for zero order and first order. What do? We take integrated rate equation for zero and first order, incorporate the condition of half-life in the reaction. Then you get the expression for half-life. We do that now. Half-life of a zero order reaction. The integrated rate equation for zero order reaction is K is equal to R naught minus R by T. Applying the condition of half-life. What do you mean by condition of half-life? At half-life, exactly time spent is 50% of the time that is required for overall completion. That is one thing. Secondly, these terms will change here. Can you people tell me at exactly half-life, T is T off. Denominator T is time generally. At half-life, it can become T half. Now, numerator, which term changes and why?
R not
R naught changes.
R becomes R by 2.
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 Yes, sir.
R becomes R naught, sir.
R not by 2, sir.
Exactly. So
R
at
naught by
half-life,
2.
what is remaining is R. What remains at half-life exactly? Half of the initial concentration. So R term will change. R is equal to initial concentration R naught by 2. So correct now? Applying condition of half-life means T becomes T off, and remaining concentration R is half of the initial concentration. Exactly. Let's substitute that. R naught minus R naught by 2. Sorry, this naught is missing here. Take naught there while writing. If you're writing, R naught minus R naught by 2 is what? R naught by 2 again. R naught by 2 divided by T half. Okay. Now you can write this as R naught by, you are going to express in terms of half-life. Push the K to the right answer. So R naught divided by 2K is the half-life expression for zero order. Now 1 by 2K is a constant. If you remove that, it becomes proportional. T half will be proportional to initial concentration of reactant half. Correct. Okay. What does it mean exactly? In a zero order reaction, time for 50% completion is directly proportional to initial concentration. Now I just want to check what is exactly you have understood from this relation. I'll give two instances here. Listen carefully. I am starting a zero order reaction with 2 moles in the beginning. I am starting a zero order reaction with 2 moles in the beginning. Time taken for 50% completion is 5 minutes. Time taken for 50% completion is 5 minutes. Now, again, I'll start the same reaction. I'll not take 2 mole this time. What do I take? I'll take 4 mole. Instead of 2 mole, I've taken 4 mole. Then what would be time taken for 50% completion?
10 minutes.
Sure?
Yeah.
Why?
It's directly proportional to R naught. Time is directly proportional
Like,
to.
okay. So for 2 moles, 50% completion is 5 minutes. For double the concentration, double the time will be taken. Now the question, Now the question, if I plot, sir, what is the significance of writing the reaction in terms of half-life? Now, why we have to write expression for half-life is the question for somebody else. We have to get an expression. Why we have to write expression for K? We have to get an expression to calculate rate constant of zero order or first order, like that. In order to calculate half-life of zero order and first order, then we need an expression, no? Correct, no? And that too, it is there in the syllabus, is the final end of the answer for every question. Why we have to study? We have in the syllabus. That's fine. Half-life has to be calculated. For that, yeah. Okay. See, apart from that, what would happen in reactions of first order and all? Time for 50% you can calculate for first order also, but time for 100% it is infinite. Correct, no? That being the case, half-life needs to be calculated theoretically. You don't have to carry out the reaction experimentally. Just, you started a reaction with 5 mole. What is half-life? You can just calculate. Experimentally, it holds good. These are all the things, no? Not only here, mathematics, physics, anywhere. Why do we need a expression for that? To calculate. So, I was asking one more question. For zero order reaction, if I plot half-life versus R naught, what kind of graph I get?
Straight line,
Straight line parallel to x-axis or y-axis?
not parallel.
Then,
Slope is equal to 1.
pardon me?
Slope
Slope 1, sir.
No, slope is not 1.
So when I plot half-life versus R naught, a straight line should be obtained passing through the origin.
Yes.
Correct? No?
Yes, sir.
Like that. So this is also a way to find out order. Calculate half-life. Okay? And at different initial concentrations. Find out half-life versus R naught. Plot a graph. If it gives a straight line passing through origin, it simply concludes that half-life is directly proportional to R naught. So if half-life is directly proportional, it is a characteristic of zero order reaction. Look at that. Order is one concept. We are going to approach or find out order in very, very different ways. How rate varies with concentration gives order. Graphical calculations gives order. Half-life calculation gives order. Look at that. Okay. Data can be given in it. So this is about half-life of a zero order reaction. You should know the final conclusions that we derive from the expression here. Half-life is directly proportional to R naught. When we plot a graph, it gives a straight line passing through origin. When initial concentration on a zero order reaction keeps increasing, half-life also increases. These are all the things which you remember, so that in CET questions, you have to write down the expression at all. Directly, you can give the answer. Half-life of zero order reaction is directly proportional to initial concentration. Now we are going to get expression for half-life of a first order reaction. Right? Again, what do? We'll consider the first order integrated rate equation. Of course, we have 2.303 by T log R naught by R. What do? We incorporate the conditions of half-life. Applying the condition of half-life, what actually happens? Time spent is exactly T of. Remaining concentration is half of the initial concentration. Substitute there. So K is equal to 2.303. T becomes T of R naught as it is. R, remaining concentration, is half of initial concentration. RR get cancels. 2 goes to numerator. 2.303 by T half log 2. What log 2? Log 2 is 0.3010. 2.303 by T half into 0. If you multiply numerator 2.303 into 0.3010, it becomes 0.693 in the numerator. So push the left hand off left to left hand side. So T half is equal to 0.693 by K is the expression for half-life of first order reaction.
Constant.
Pardon me?
Constant.
That is very good. That was my next question actually. What do you mean by that again? Constant means what?
It only depends on the order of the reaction.
Louder, please.
It only depends on the order of the reaction. Not order, sir. Rate constant.
Order is first order. We know the expression for first order.
Rate constant.
It depends on only rate constant. Rate constant of first order. What rate constant? Rate constant of zero order we use here. First order only. No?
Whatever the first order experiment is, it remains the same.
Whatever the first order reaction is, it remains the same half-life. That means
The rate remains constant with time.
Excuse me, once again.
The rate remains constant with time. It does not change.
Rate remains constant. Rate remains constant. Rate. Okay.
Not rate, sir.
Okay. Now we have started with integrated rate equation of first order. This one. When we incorporated conditions of half-life, it has got reduced to this form. What is the terms we have lost here? Can you tell me? R naught,
Initial
R terms are
concentration.
lost. T is there. T has become T out. That's fine. K is there. As the terms we have lost from integrated rate equation is R naught and R. So finally, we have got an expression 0.693 by K. K is a constant. 0.693 is a constant. Half-life is a constant. We have to conclude, no? What do you mean by T of is constant of first order? No, you have to answer. Some dog is barking. Please mute. Huh?
Don't know, sir.
So it is independent of concentration.
Look at that, Mr. Vinay. Exactly. It is independent of initial concentration. Look at that. The concentration terms only simply vanish out. What remains is half-life expression with only constant. Means half-life of a first order reaction doesn't care about initial concentration of reaction. What do you mean by that? I'll take the same example as that of zero order. I will carry out a first order reaction with 2 moles in the beginning. 2 moles in the beginning. Time taken for 50% completion is 5 minutes. Okay. Again, I'll carry out the same reaction by taking double the concentration, that is 4 moles. What would be time taken for 50%?
5 minutes only.
In case of zero order,
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
it was 10 minutes. In case of first order,
5 minutes.
okay, for 2 moles, 50%, 5 minutes. 4 moles, 50%, 5 minutes. Instead of 4 moles and all, I'll take suddenly 100 moles, 50%.
5 minutes.
5
100
minutes.
moles also. Okay, man. I'll take 10,000 moles, man.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
What, man? For 10,000
5
moles also
minutes.
5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I'll
If
take
all-
10 tons of reactant of first order. I say,
5
5
minutes.
minutes. 5 minutes.
see, I'm taking so much risk here. 10 tons like that. You say 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That is the thing? That's very nice. So half-life is constant. So exactly, you take any amount. It is your capacity and will and wish. 10 tons or whatever. It becomes half in 5 minutes. Did we have any examples before of this kind? You take any amount, time taken for half conversion is same. Any phenomena of this kind? That's what I can hear.
No, sir.
Anybody else, man? Huh? What is this? A major chunk. 47 participants are there. It was 48 before. Suddenly one went out. Signal became weak. He'll come back later. Okay. What about remaining people? Radioactivity is the answer. In radioactivity, half-life remains constant. We have also concluded before, radioactivity is a first order reaction. Or we say radioactivity follows first order kinetics. Okay. So in that way, what we can say, you take radioactive element. In the earth crust, some uranium is found. You would extract some 100 kg of uranium. Time required to convert 100 kg of uranium to 50 kg is same as 1 gram becoming 0.5 gram. Is same as 1 milligram becoming 0.5 milligram. Look at that. That's why the radioactive elements which are formed in the earth during the formation are still there. It is never ending process. It is proceeding. So that's the basis for calculation of age of a fossil or anything, any artifact. Because still radioactive elements are there. Some scintillations can be obtained. Now in a fresh sample, what is the scintillation? Radioactive radiation is emitted, we know. So now whatever is remaining concentration. Initial radioactivity is initial concentration. Radioactivity observed in an artifact obtained during excavation would be remaining concentration. So to simplify, that's how you get time for it. If you know K, right?
Sir, so now for 100% completion of first order reaction, we can just consider it with half-life of first order reaction.
Yeah, half-life also, it is never ending again. First 50% completes in, let's say, 10 minutes. Remaining 50% of 50%. So 25% only. Am I right? We have problems like that. 100 moles we have taken. 50%. 50 moles converted. In remaining is 50 moles. 50% of 50 mole is 25. 50% of 20. It goes like that. It is never ending again. It is not that half-life for 100 moles is, let's say, 10 minutes. Remaining half-life is again 10 minutes, 20 minutes, sir. Complete. No. Okay. Shall we proceed now? So that's about half-life, first order, second order, integrated rate equations, significance, applications. Okay. So fine, we'll take it further. Of course, conclusions has popped up here. Half-life period of a first order reaction is independent of initial concentration. Relation between half-life and initial concentration R naught for different reactions of various orders. You can say for nth order. Okay. What's the relation? For nth order means any order. Nth order is any order. They are related as, look at this, T half proportional to 1 by R naught to the power n minus 1, where n is order of the reaction. There is some design that don't worry about therefore. So half-life proportional to 1 by R naught to the power n minus 1. Okay. Or if you want to remove this proportionality, then you have to introduce a constant there. So T half is equal to 1 by K into R naught to the power n minus 1. Or R naught can also be written as initial concentration A. You can either write T half is equal to 1 by K into A power n minus 1 or this, anything. Now n is the order of the reaction. When n changes, relation also changes. We have already seen previously in two cases. For zero order, half-life is proportional to R naught. For first order, half-life is independent of concentration, constant. We have to get the same conclusion by using these relations also, correct? Come on. Where n is order, R naught or A is initial constant. For a zero order reaction, what is n value? 0. Keep n value here, 0. What would happen? T of proportional to 1 by R naught to the power 0 minus 1. R naught to the power minus 1. So you can push the R naught to the numerator. It becomes plus 1. So this is the expression. Correct now? So what is the conclusion? Half-life is directly proportional to initial concentration. Correct? Same thing we have got the conclusion from previous half-life expression also. Right? From this also. But if they ask you, prove that half-life of zero order is directly proportional to initial concentration, or half-life of first order is independent of initial concentration, you should not use this method. This is only shortcut. You have to use in board only that method. That is incorporating conditions of half-life into integrated rate equation. That only you have to do, not this. For first order reaction, n is equal to 1. Come on. When n is equal to 1, it is n 1 minus 1, 0. So T off becomes a constant. Therefore, it's, what do we say? Initial concentration term is removed at half-life. So it's independent of initial concentration. For a second order reaction, n is equal to 2. So when you substitute there, n minus 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. So half-life is inversely proportional to initial concentration for second order. For a third order reaction, n is equal to 3. Half-life is proportional to 1 by R naught square, because 3 minus 1, it is square. So half-life is inversely proportional to square of initial concentration is third order. Inversely proportional to concentration is second order. Just independent is first order. Directly proportional is 0. Something.
If you have fractional order also, it will follow, sir.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Definitely. When the order is there like that, obviously it has to be like fractional order. But we study these things as per the syllabus. Somebody requires previous slide. Okay, come on, write down. Okay. Meghna, is this the previous slide or again one more back?
It is this one only, sir.
Oh. Meanwhile, I'll ask you a few questions related to this. You have to answer. I'm going to plot half-life versus initial concentration. I'm going to plot half-life versus initial concentration for first order. How do you think the graph is obtained?
Straight line parallel to x-axis.
Fantastic. Straight line parallel to x-axis. Half-life is along y-axis. Initial concentration along x-axis. Half-life is independent of initial concentration, means half-life has to be constant irrespective of concentration along x-axis. So means a straight line parallel to x-axis is obtained. I am going to plot T of versus R naught for zero order. We told this. T half versus R naught for zero order. Right, we told no just now.
Straight line passing through origin.
Straight line passing through origin. Half-life is plotted against 1 by R naught. Half-life plotted against 1 by R naught. It gives a straight line passing through origin. What is the order?
Sir,
Half-life is plotted against 1 by R naught. It gives a straight line passing through origin. I am only giving you. What is the order?
First order.
0.
order.
Zero order.
Zero order.
0.
Along x-axis, it is not R naught, man. It is 1 by R naught, man.
Second order.
It is a second order.
Second order.
Second order. Now, if I plot half-life versus 1 by R naught, it doesn't give a straight line passing through origin. So,
First order.
you can't say that. It is not second order, you can say. Correct? No. Whatever the conclusion you have to derive based on that, that much only you can derive. Not you can, how do you conclude is first order without doing anything? Correct? No. If half-life is plotted against 1 by R naught, if it is not a straight line, it is not a second order. That's all we can say. Okay, That's fine. Okay. Look at this. This is what I was saying. If half-life is directly proportional to 1 by R naught, it means when you plot half-life versus 1 by R naught, it has to give a straight line passing through origin. Then it is second order. If half-life versus 1 by R naught is not a straight line, it is not a second order, that's all we can do. We can't say it is first order. We have to again plot that. Similarly, if I plot half-life versus 1 by R naught square along x-axis, then it should give a straight line passing through origin. Then it is a third order. If it is not a straight line, it is not a third order, as simple. Okay.